Hello and welcome to my 47,000 day hardcore Minecraft world. Over the past 200 hours, I've been building up my own version of an arcane city named Mothra. And within this city comes the three titans when it comes to farms. My 2,000 wither skull per hour wither skeleton farm, a frog life farm that produces over 20,000 frog lights per hour, and of course, a gold farm. And all of this takes place in the Nether, below the bedrock roof that I hand dug and got rid of all the lava by hand. If you guys want to see the journey from the very start, I'll put a card up in the top right hand corner. But without further ado, let's get into today's episode. And you know, since I started this whole build, I knew that this was going to be a colossal mega project, but dang, is this place really starting to shape up. Look at all of the builds that we've got going on. Arc Labs, we got the greenhouse that's completely floating there. Don't worry, I'll fix that in the future. Of course, we have the frog light farm over there. We'll never have to worry about frog lights again. Right on over here, we have the gold farm, which is producing tons and tons of gold. And I have already started moving all the piglins into the bartering farm, which I'll show you guys exactly how that works here in just a moment. First, I kind of want to touch a little bit on the retaining wall that I built up in the last episode. Love the way that this turned out, and I'm waiting for all of your guys' feedback on whether or not I should put fountains or statues, because today is the release date of that episode. I've only seen a couple of your guys' comments. Make sure to put a comment down below before I actually get into this build. Hopefully, hopefully you guys get that comment in quick, because I might be building this thing up fast. Anyways, love the stairs, love the spiky bits, of course. Yeah, there's a little bit of a hop. Don't worry, I'll fix that within time. Up here, I have more deep slate that I'm going to be working into this whole area, but it brings us all the way down over here where the bartering farm is now going to be kept. So let me show you guys exactly how this thing works and what the idea is behind all of this madness. So looking at kind of where the bartering farm is going to be located, up top we're going to have the pawn shop, of course. So that's going to be like our kind of like above ground kind of build. We're going to walk down this alleyway here, so we're going to create like a little bit of a tunnel over here. This is the auto sorter for the bartering farm. But let's work our way from the very top all the way down here so I can explain to you guys all the bits and bops behind this. All right, so as you guys can see, I have all the droppers with all the piglins in place. So this is based off of a logical Geek Boy design that I've kind of messed around a little bit and kind of changed it up. So right here, this is the gold part right here. So if I put all of my gold in there, I'm going to have a piglin brute right here. His name's going to be Benzo. I'm going to load up the cart, and then we're going to send off the cart. That cart back there is going to fill up all of the hoppers, as you guys can see, and they're going to go right into the droppers right here. Then if I press this button right here, that's going to put a pulse that's going to go through all of that, activating the gold. All of that gold will then, let me just turn this guy off so we're not feeding too much in here. All of that gold is going to be on a pressure plate, and then right behind these pressure plates is actually a redstone torch. Let me see if I can give you guys a good look. You see that? You see that in the bottom left kind of deal? You see how that torch is currently on? Well, if there's a gold on that torch, it will basically lock the dropper above, not allowing any more gold to pass through. So we have the feeding design, we have the spitting design, we have the toggle on and off design, and of course, I have a gold ingot. I'm not supposed to have that. All of these guys are going to be feeding all of their stuff into this hopper mess. This thing is an absolute nightmare. So I didn't know about hopper speed, not being able to keep up with piglins, especially, this thing is absolutely wild. I don't remember the exact rates. I think like a hopper can move like 3,500 items, and like piglins can give you like 4,500 items. I don't know. Correct me in the comments down below, because I'm not 100% sure. I've just been kind of told this from my Twitch chat. Anyways, all of these items will then filter in through this whole monstrosity. and bring us over here to our item sorter, where we're going to be sorting up. This is one shulker box of gold. For frame of reference, pretty decent. We got all of the gravel right here. We're saving, of course, the soul sand. We got tons of blackstone. Obsidian, which is a big one that I really need for beacons. We have the crying obsidian over here. Nether bricks, which is really nice for making like nether brick fences or nether brick blocks, whatever it may be. For keeping the quartz. The string, which I need a stupid amount of candles recently. Like, I don't even know what's going on here. I'm going through like a whole candle phase, so I really need to keep up with string. We're keeping all the leather, of course. Fire charges. This particular spot is going to be reserved for the dried gas, because in the future, these guys are actually going to be dropping dried gas. And then right here, I'm just going to leave myself an empty slot just in case, you know, Mojang decides, hey, we're going to add like another trade into the bartering loot pool. I'll at least have one more spot to make that happen. Up top, of course, we have a dropper. This dropper will just basically dispense items into the lava right here, burning everything up. But quickly, let's talk about droppers versus dispensers real fast. So I had this conversation with my chat, and well, there's a very important reason as to why we're using droppers and why I'm using lava. So I'm using lava because if I accidentally throw any of my netherite tools in here, that netherite tool will not burn in lava. That's one of the caveats behind having like netherite, is it won't actually burn in lava, which is very handy. If you're using cactus or anything like that, it's extremely unforgiving. Okay, but why would we use a dropper over a dispenser, and what's the difference, right? So let's say I put a TNT instead of a dropper. It's just gonna spit out the TNT, which is exactly what we want. Over here though, if I put a TNT in here, so like let's say you were to do this inside your item sorter, and you had like a mega item sorter and you're item sorting every single block in the game, including TNT, and you had a dispenser in there, well, you're not gonna have a good time. Because as you guys can see, putting TNT inside of a dispenser obviously will blow up. Which of course you would think would be obvious, but obviously with Minecraft being the game that it is, and there being a bazillion things you could do in Minecraft, it's hard to remember everything, but that's a little bit of a tip for you guys in case you guys are building cool stuff in your world too. But now that I've had my bartering farm running for a little while here, I'm just gonna kind of stress test this a little bit and see if it will be able to keep up. I've added all of these double chests in here in order to kind of like hold the items so they don't despawn and whatnot. Let's see how much gold we've actually put in there. Obviously everything is on, everything will turn off. Oh, of course that happened. And we're back. Okay, so it looks like about 8.5 stacks of gold pretty much all within there, and it seems to be keeping up just fine. Let's check out these chests real quick and see how they're keeping up. Exactly why we have these chests here, because like these hoppers down below, these guys fill up stupid fast right here, and we've only put in about 8 boxes. Now I know what you guys are saying, and I know all the redstone tech gurus are out there, and they're being like, Link, why are you using hoppers and not using dispensers or like, I don't know, some crazy ice boat trick, whatever like deal it is? And that's because I'm not that technical. Relax. As you guys can see, we've got that exact design over here for the Wither skeleton farm. It basically like stuff gets shot out here, thrown down here, and then shot all the way down here. We could rebuild this, but honestly, look how big this thing is, first off. And then look at the orientation of my bartering farm. So it's really nice to have like the item shoot down and boom, get items sorted, right? But the orientation of where the bartering farm is at right now doesn't really make it easy to do so because of the limited space that we have. We would have to like shoot them down here, shoot them out this way, drop them down again, and then shoot them back in order to item sort everything. And I'm not about that life, you know? But as we're on the topic of trading up tons and tons of gold, check it out. We've got lots of gold to sell to the piglins, and of course the actual gold farm beyond this point right here. is honestly gathering up tons and tons of more gold that we're going to be able to trade. So hopefully my obsidian and my gravel and all that fun stuff will be no longer an issue when we get this bartering farm completely built up for exactly what we want to do. But now I would like to talk a little bit about the future of this build. So obviously, like I always tell you guys in all of my episodes, is that I focus heavily based off of like no longer like mega builds at this point, but I focus primarily on regional builds pretty much. So think of this as a regional build. This is a build that I'm going to continuously keep coming back to over the years. That way I don't have to rush things. That way everything can come together cohesively, and I think it really does help against burnout. For those of you guys who are struggling with burnout, it's really nice to kind of get a little bit of a breath of fresh air by switching up your projects. So we're going to be finishing off this whole area, getting the bartering farm in place. But our primary focus behind this entire area was to get the frog life farm done, the wither skeleton farm done, and of course the gold farm and the bartering farm back there. We also have honey farms. We will get the tavern in here, but we will unfortunately have to move on here fairly soon, which is fine with me because, on contrary to popular belief, I am not made of resources. Just because I have a 47,000 day hardcore Minecraft world, as you guys can see right here, doesn't mean I don't run out of resources. And well, that whole area is taking all of my resources. So I think it's about time that I show you guys what the next ascension is going to be, because it is going to be a very stark difference between this ascension and the new ascension. This one being the Empress of the Metamorphosis, being more of a dark gothic kind of vibe, and the next one being a beautiful coral reef build, being the Queen of the Coral Reef or Sin. Now, of course, this area is going to be a brand new expansion because it does rely heavily on having a coral reef available to us. And I think I found the perfect one, because the coral reef I'm about to show you guys is the biggest coral reef I have ever seen in Minecraft. So going through this portal over here and ending up over at the bee and spider castle, which I will be redoing. Think of like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, because I really want to redo this entire area to have like big giant plants, like flowers and all of that cool stuff. So say goodbye to the Blossom Forest in the future, and we will be bringing in all kinds of really cool stuff in behind me. And of course, we'll be building down inside the cave down there. But flying away from this whole area behind me and going way out here, I'll show you guys where this coral reef is at. We are now officially over about 9,000 blocks away from where we started, and check out this coral reef. So right here where the dark blue water spot is, I think is a perfect location to begin our next big expansion. But look at the size of this coral reef. This is the biggest coral reef that I have ever seen in Minecraft. And if you guys don't believe me, look at the map. So let's load up the map right here. This is where I plan to potentially build. Nothing is totally set in stone, but this coral reef goes all the way down here as well, spans out this way as well, and goes all the way up the coastline. And yeah, well, that is a really big coral reef that of course has to be built in, right? And of course I will be setting up another portal way out here, so I don't have to fly 15 minutes to get out here, you know? But flying on back home, there is a lot of really cool places that we could build in. This area in particular, I think is a really cool Badlands that we could totally build out here. I've actually never built in like, I think this is straight up eroded Badlands. Yeah, I've never built in an eroded Badlands before. This particular area, I think would be really, really cool for maybe an apocalyptic build or something like that in the future, potentially. And then there's an area right on over here, which I think is really, really inspirational. And I will reiterate, it's not because my seed in Minecraft is good, because trust me, my seed in Minecraft sucks. all of your guys' seeds look like this if you just fly around and take a look around and use your imagination on what types of things you guys could build out here. Bruh. And I feel like this doesn't get talked about enough, but the new variations of mobs throughout the world is so freaking cool. Imagine those were just real, like those were like the normal like white wolves just running around and stuff like that. They wouldn't blend into their environments. I love the direction that Mojang has taken when it comes to like adding in new animals in different regions of the world. When we go over from those cows and then we come over here and there's different cows and chickens, absolute chef kiss. And I hope they continue to do so throughout the years. And we're almost back to civilization. Oh my gosh. You know, that really brings me to another point. Everybody says that they always love early game and everything like that. Dude, I feel like when I go out like 10,000 blocks away from like where I have built, and this area out here is very far out, mind you, that it's almost like restarting a brand new like world pretty much. So I encourage all of you guys to, instead of redoing your worlds and making new worlds all the time, travel like 10,000 blocks out and build something completely new. But hey, I think I've talked your guys' ears off quite enough at the beginning of this episode. I think it's about time that we get into a little bit of the building portion where we're going to build up the pawn shop around the bartering farm. And of course, we'll be moving in the piglin brutes as well. Oh boy, let me tell you guys this much. I have been struggling putting this build together because, well, I didn't sleep well last night. But this is what I got so far. I probably have showed you guys a little bit of the footage of building the actual farm itself. Got a nice little viewing window. Obviously, this is very far from being complete, so don't be judging just yet. But let me show you guys exactly kind of what I've already got in place. We have a little bit of a sign action up here, some banners, Benzo, of course, and I'll show you guys what he's up to here in just a moment. Got a little bar over here. We're calling this Pawns and Pints because there's a little bit of a bar, and this is also a pawn shop. So we're going to be doing the whole interior in here, making it look all fancy and stuff. Having another additional sign right up on over here. A little bit of a bell. We have Benzo chilling. And of course, I have a metric ton of all the resources that I've been gathering up. But let me show you guys exactly what I've been referring to by the whole pawn shop thing and what Benzo's role in this whole thing is. And also where Brutus is kept as well. So in terms of like moving the actual piglin brutes, it actually went fairly smooth. Nothing, no big issue there. Oh, also, don't think I showed you guys this. This is the fog effect. I haven't added any of the detailing yet. I will do all the mossing and all that type of stuff like we did up there. But the concept here, we're supposed to roll up, take our gold over here, say hello to Benzo over here. I almost called him Brutus. Would have been angry on that, but he's, let's be honest, he's always angry. Give him tons of gold. I might have to turn him down a little bit because he's a little bit loud. Send off the minecart. Let the minecart do its thing, as I've shown you guys obviously before. That's just going to go fill up the whole system. And then I can click this button right here. Bet you didn't know I had a button there now, did you? Super hidden. Very sneaky. And then that starts to spit out all the gold over here for the piglins to basically trade away. But oh boy, you guys want to see some crazy loot action? Let me fly up here real fast. So this is where Brutus hangs out. What's up, Brutus? This is the auto sorter that I showed you guys previously. Well, let's just say I probably am not going to have to worry about gravel for quite some time because I have filled up all of these shulker boxes down here, and I have a lot more to come. So we're pretty much set up for the gravel. This is all full of blackstone as well, and this I guess is just a random box. We'll just plop that there as well. Fly back up here. Check out all this loot. So I've only traded about 5 shulker boxes of gold so far. The obsidian is a absolute game changer. Love that amount of obsidian for us. We have the crying obsidian right here. Would you be quiet? I'm trying to record a segment. all of the nether brick. Would you actually be quiet? All right, time to show you guys how I actually move these guys to begin with. Attach a lead to them, hold them with their little lead and stuff like that. Get this guy way the heck out the way, and let me show you guys what I wanted to show you over here. All this quartz popping off. We got an absolute ton of string. Thankfully, I can now make lots of candles, and we're kind of moving on to the next one. Tons and tons of leather. Are you kidding me, dude? Think of all the saddles we can make. Oh my gosh. Fire chargers coming in here slowly. Dried gas and all that kind of stuff. And it looks like over here, we have a bunch of stuff going into the trash. And of course, don't worry, because I have been farming the wither skeletons as well, going upwards to almost 520,000 wither skeletons slain so far, which really has me thinking whether or not we actually will be finishing off this project at 600,000, because I think we will. Anyways, I want to show you guys a little bit of a bird's eye view over here. I think that this fog effect really breaks up this entire area, but I'm going to reiterate something real quick. So remember, everything is a work in progress. Nothing is fully complete. Like this little roof right here. This isn't complete. I need to finish this thing already. Dang it. I keep forgetting to do this. I need to get rid of this redstone dust, and I need to actually finish this. Anyways, I need to stop flying over that so you guys can stop seeing that. Anyways, like I said, we're going to be building bridges here. We're going to be building bridges this way. We're going to be bridges that way. There's going to be buildings all along here. This entire area will fill in. This area will also be built up over on this side of the city as well. So we'll have like another kind of like retaining wall coming all the way down here, except this retaining wall will probably be a little bit different because of course the beacons themselves are like kind of in a really stupid spot over here. But like I said, you guys get the point. The entire like point of this whole build is supposed to be like multiple different Y values. We got the lower bit, we got the medium bit, we got the upper medium bit, and then we've got the mid bit, and then I'm out of bits basically. But quickly, the one thing I'm really looking forward to when we're done doing this build is not having to deal with this freaking shulker monster anymore, because oh my god, I literally like, why is this even here? That's empty. I can't find anything out here, dude. Oh my gosh. My life has been turned upside down, and I can barely, like, what is this? I've just basically lost all sense of like organization throughout this entire project, and that happened honestly a lot more quicker into this project than I would like to admit. Now that I'm done complaining, let's get back into the build so I can finish the whole front facade here. This green little leaf thingy, I'm thinking about making like a really nice like little billboard, all that kind of stuff. It could be maybe it could be like so it says like pawn and pints. Maybe we can do PP. Let's just build the build. So clearly I went with a little bit more of the abstract approach when it comes to the sign here, because my original idea wasn't going to happen, especially for a family-friendly channel. Anyways, we got Benzo out here. He's just hanging out, doing his thing. This is where I trade up all the gold. I still need to do a little bit of this whole area. I need like a doorway to get back there. That needs to happen. But you know what else I've done besides building up this building over here? I've also started to do a little bit of the alleyway down here. This was a little bit of a weird one to do because not everything was 100% like centered. I do need to set up some item frames so I know exactly what's what. I'm going to do that right now. But all the resources are definitely flowing, which is crazy. But at least coming out of the laboratory over here, it looks a little bit more complete on each side. This side is just going to have this guy hanging out and stuff like that. And I'm also going to have the Strider hanging out over there as well. I originally wanted to do archways, but I'm a little bit worried on how the archways are going to pan out and exactly like where are these tunnels going to be leading off to. Maybe they'll lead off into like some mines or something like that for ancient debris. That'd be kind of cool. Like maybe they have like an ancient debris mine, kind of like they're mining for like shimmer or something like they do in Arcane kind of deal. That could be really interesting. Or at least they had like factories for shimmer and whatnot. But now that we got this whole thing done up, I know it looks out of place. Don't worry. This building is going to be a part of a lot of other buildings in this whole area, and it will fill up. Looking at your guys' comments too, I think that we're going to be building some statues over here, so that definitely needs to happen. You guys want to see that happen more than the fountains, which makes sense because I didn't want to have to build any fountains with lava or anything ugly like that, or even glasswork, because oh my god, that takes a long time. I moved over the diamond, or not the diamond beacon, because we're better than that. We've got the netherite beacon on over here now. This is not the actual home for it yet. I don't know where we're gonna actually put it. Inside here, of course, is the wither skeleton farm. I still need to do some work over here, but now that we're almost done the bartering farm, it's about time that we start tackling the interior of this laboratory, which I think I could definitely do. Going to have to definitely expand the storage room for the coal and the bones and, of course, the wither skulls. Gonna have to put an entirely spawn-proof floor in here as well. We're gonna have like a lot of science stuff in here. So I don't know if we're probably gonna have some like test tubes like right here, where we're gonna be doing some research on some pretty crazy creatures to come in the world in the future. But flying on in, everything is filling up so beautifully. I could spend another month and a half here and still barely fill up this entire area. That's how big this space is. It's pretty crazy to think that I've completely dug through this entire thing in the nether. It's wild. You want to know what else is also crazy? The fact that my world is officially 5 years old. In 5 years, I've accomplished 47,000 days in this hardcore world, and I have nobody else to thank than you guys. But of course, over here in the God of Celebrations, we had to put something up on the wall to be symbolic of that. So, big shout out to Zopa over here, who gave me a Dragon's Breath potion from his Hall of Fame plot. Something I'll never be able to obtain again unless I fight the dragon, which is going to destroy my end hub. But big thank you, of course, for the last 5 years of this hardcore Minecraft world. And of course, for those of you guys who may have missed it, there is a celebration video that is up on the channel made by Purple Squirrel, a Mandroid, and Zopa, which is a massive thank you to all of them for putting that together. The video is absolutely incredible. There are some fantastic people in that video congratulating me, and I want to say a special thank you to them, especially if they're watching this episode right now. Thank you. But I don't know about you guys, but there is a lot left to do. In the last 5 years, we've accomplished quite a bit. But in the next 5 years, for as long as I live, this world is going to develop into something truly incredible. We're halfway there to 100,000 days almost, which is absolutely insane. If we break that 100,000 day barrier, not only will we be the first person to ever accomplish that, potentially even in survival, but I think that would be a truly amazing milestone, especially in Minecraft. So of course, I have a lot of you guys to thank. Everybody over here in these halls who have supported me along the way. A Mandroid for putting together the video. Dargan for coming on back. We have a lot of people in here. Mike Croft, Chaos, Krabby Kronos, Uni up there, Round, Sis. I could be here all day shouting out people that allow me to be here on a daily basis. But at the end of the day, it's all of you guys who have been supporting the channel along the way. Whether it's something as small as a comment or a like on the YouTube, everything goes a very long way. This world wouldn't be what it is today if it wasn't for all of you. But with 5 years down, we've only got a couple more thousand days to go until we hit the big 50,000 days in my hardcore world. I'll be definitely the first person in the hardcore Minecraft space to hit 50,000 days, and I may even be the first one in survival to do so. But I know one thing for sure, I'm never going to stop building for you guys and giving back to the community who've helped me make it this far. So if you made it to this part of the video, let me know in the comments down below on what your favorite moments of this world is, what your favorite build is, or when you came into the channel, because I'm curious exactly where you've come from, whether it was a raid, another content creator, or what build was your very first build that you ever saw me create. And here's to another 5 years. And now that we got that out the way, I think it's about time we start labeling exactly what's what for our bartering farm right here. So I'm just going to kind of be placing up all the blocks just over here so we can know that that's gravel, that's that. I'm probably going to name these items too, reluctantly. Trust me, I don't want to give up any of my levels to name these stupid items, but at least now you guys know exactly where my levels go. Because yeah, sure, I've got a really long hardcore world, but I do go through so many things when it comes to basically name tagging everything. I definitely want to be able to hover over these. I want them to like indicate exactly what they are. That way I can kind of read it, see it, and all that fun stuff. So I'm going to organize this up. I'm going to name them all up. Then we're going to get, what's this guy's name again? It's not Benzo, it's Brutus. So then we're going to get Brutus over here and behind this book right here. Maybe we'll write stuff down inside of this thing. Not sure exactly what we're going to do with that just yet. We might rename the laboratory over here to the Chrysalis. A lot of you guys have been suggesting that in the last video. And then we got to get Riff Raff, wherever the heck Riff Raff is, a little bit of a spot right here so we can kind of like guard the entrance and stuff. But I'm going to continue to keep doing this. Just kidding. Riff Raff is actually going up here. Get faked out, nerd. He's actually going to protect Benzo over here at the bartering farm and do his thing. But now that we've got a lot of this sort of stuff done, I'm going to start working on the interior of the Chrysalis over here. And I have a little bit of a design going on in here that I'm kind of playing around with, and it's supposed to be like a moth, you know what I mean? I'm really trying. I'm trying here, all right? Anyways, I want to get the walls up in here. I got a little bit of the ceiling in place. I've got the desk that's going to go right here. And then we're going to have Amanda. She's going to have some big, beautiful butterfly wings and stuff like that as she's gone through the metamorphosis and stuff. I'm probably going to extend this rooftop out here. And I'm definitely going to have to split up this interior into 4 different interiors. That way I can completely hide this whole deal back here. So yeah, wish me luck. Well, this is definitely feeling a lot more like a laboratory now. Check it out. So behind us, we have the desk right here. A little bit of little bits and pieces of detail along the way. She's got all kinds of like little jars just kind of hanging up on the shelves over here. Made this little piranha plant using some armor stand magic. Don't worry, I'll link the mod in the description down below if you guys want to do these really, really cool things. And of course, I know I'm going to get asked this, but this is a custom data pack from the Wandering Trader that is made for me every single month by actually Amanda or some of my moderators, but mainly Amanda right now. Over here, we have the custom cosmic whale thingy bob. Anyways, I think this guy is super cool. He's inside like a bigger giant stasis chamber, just kind of being studied. I'm going to have a nice little lectern right here, and we're going to be studying him. Little angler fish right here, looking really cool. Love it. And then we have a radioactive fish over here, which I think is beautiful. So check that guy out right there. He's even got the little radioactive signal down here. And wait till you guys see this with shaders on. We got a vermint from Princess Bubblegum Kingdom. What is it called? Adventure Time. And then I've got a cool effect that I would like to do inside of here. By having all these crazy eyes in here, it's creepy. Kind of like some sort of creatures coming to life in there, or something's being worked on in there. And then I have this guy right here, which I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to be placing in there. But all in all, I'm really liking the way that this whole laboratory is shaping up. Might put some little bits of wow, words? Little bits and pieces of detail along here. Maybe we'll bring out another pillar right here just to kind of bring this out a bit. But I like it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Cosmic whale? Probably my favorite though. And now I absolutely love it. Oh my god. We have the deconstructed netherite beacon up in the roof now. I have all of the butterflies in place. And of course, we have Amanda chilling here. This is all built for her. I love this place. It brings so much joy to me. being able to do some really cool things with shaders with this whole build. And I hope you guys are enjoying this build as much as I am, but I have even more things to show you. And that is over here inside of the Froglight farm area, where I built up these other little cryo chambers so we can hold where all of those bees were that we named after all of the genes and stuff like that. If you guys remember in episode 2 or maybe 1, I can't remember which episode it was, but we do have these bees here, which started off the honeycomb farm and of course the honey farm. So we can now call this area complete. But on the outside, as I promised from the very beginning, we were going to build the last drop. And well, I have then started kind of plotting out how I'm going to do it. And check it out with shaders. Gorgeous, huh? So what I've decided to do was to do the eye from the last drop, but I also added in the purple shimmer on the inside to be a little bit symbolic of Jinx when she gets like that purple in her eye right before she's about to kind of go wild, if you will. Turning off the shaders, I'll give you guys a bit of a closer look on what I'm kind of planning to do on the inside of this tavern. I've got a little bit of it laid out. I have some doors in here, some door handles. I've been putting in a little bit of pillars. These are supposed to be distillers. I still have to do a whole wall around here. Maybe add some windows so we can look out. Maybe add a window over here as well. But this area right here, this is going to be like the actual bar. We'll have bar tables or stools. We'll have a couple tables back here just so people can kind of sit down and relax. Originally, I was going to add it into like this section right here so we can like enter through there, but I think I'm actually going to take this pathway and continue to keep going that way with it. That way, when we expand that way, we'll at least have the bridge work done too. On the topic of expansions, well, I have finally fixed up the very end of the corridor. Now tell me, does this beacon chandelier kind of resemble like a bat or something like that? I think that's really cool and very symbolic of Motham City to come, but that's not all. Once we drop down, we go through the darkness and boom, we're met with a very gorgeous view of Arc Labs. Basically perfectly framed within here. And as we walk through here, it kind of creates a whole nother level of immersion. But I also built a little cheeky hardcore heart behind us as well. And on a bit of a side note, I want to personally thank each and every single one of you guys for the immense amount of support throughout this project. The YouTube channel has been doing phenomenally, and I just want to say thank you. But without further ado, I think it's about time I get back to work over here at the tavern. You know what? I'm pretty happy with the way this tavern turned out. I got everything fully done up now. Check it out. Turn off the shaders here so I don't have to blind you guys. But it's called the last drop. So we have the eye here. We of course have the teardrops, but the teardrops are a bunch of wobbly pops. Thought that was quite fitting. On the interior here, well, this was actually quite challenging to do because of the limited space that I had available to me. But I think I did a pretty good job. We have our distillers right back here, a couple paintings up on the wall just to kind of take up a little bit of space. Our star employees hanging out, of course. And then just try to add as much detail as I possibly could throughout the build. It looks like I may have I may have forgotten a wall over here. Whoops. But you know what I didn't forget? Blacking out behind the chrysalis and underneath Arc Labs. So check this out. Looking straight up, you don't even see it. It almost looks like the sky blends in with the sky above, since it's all supposed to take place at night. Not only did I do this side, but I did of course do every single side available to us. The whole way around the entire chrysalis. Yes, there's still road work to be done around here. Things like what I've done over here underneath the bartering farm. That leads into these alleyways, which of course are going to lead somewhere one day. But for now, I don't have the time, nor do I have all the coal or the resources because this project has really depleted my resources. But speaking of resources, down here, the bartering farm has been going absolutely insane. I hardly have any more space for gravel in my main storage room, which is crazy. Soul sand is absolutely popping off. Blackstone, but check this out. Boom. I finally got a full shulker box of obsidian. But let me show you guys exactly why that's so exciting. So I normally have my beacon beams rendered off using sodium extras. I get that question quite a bit, but there's something that people always forget about having a very long-term hardcore survival world like I do, and it is the sheer amount of beacons it takes to basically claim land throughout here. So it's not uncommon for me to be utilizing over 100 beacons per project on an easy day. But let me just show you guys a little bit of the craziness that goes on behind the scenes as, of course, the storm rolls in, because it's just a storm every other day. But I want to put this in a little bit of a perspective on a lot of like what goes in behind the scenes for a 47,000 day hardcore Minecraft world. There's a reason why I hold the record for the longest hardcore world to ever exist. So put this into perspective. Do you guys have this many beacons in your world? Yeah, probably not. Now, I did manage to finish a couple other additional things in the live streams. One, I have completely replaced the grindstones that used to hold up the wardens, and I've gotten rid of their toys, which is super cool, because for the longest time, that's been something on my to-do list. But I also did another laboratory inside of the, I keep calling it the Monarch, but it's the Chrysalis. And I know all you 90s babies are gonna absolutely love this, because I know I did. It is a cloning facility. So we have module 1 and module 2. We also have Navi right here who holds the mace. So that's quite menacing. I have this little guy right here who pulled a lever so Amanda doesn't have to. But we have a shiny Mew in here. And then we have a different Mew, which is a little bit scuffed. And then, of course, we've got Ditto, who's very scuffed. Which means that we have 2 more science experiment laboratories to do before we could finish off this episode and go into full swing into the next ascension, in which I've been actually setting up a bunch of resources for. So over here, I have set aside a ton of prismarine from the Guardian farm, of course. And then behind us, I have a bunch of these modules that are all auto-crafting different prismarine blocks. So I have the dark prismarine, I've got normal prismarine, the sea lanterns, and then over here, I've got the prismarine bricks. Now, why is it that I'm doing this? Because, well, let me show you guys. This area right here is directly above where my storage room is located. So if I jump through here, go down this little pond way right down here, this is the storage room. I'm going to be spending quite a bit of time in this storage room because I have a ton of shulker monsters that I've been cleaning up in Motham City because, well, let's just say things got way out of hand over there. I started off extremely organized and now not so much, but I've loaded up the shulker unloader here, and I'm just kind of waiting for everything to process and go through the auto sorter. So I'm just kind of waiting for like all the lights to turn on and turn off, hoping that this thing doesn't break. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting for this whole area to finish doing its thing, also, I don't use any chunk loaders. For those of you guys who are probably going to say inside the comment section down below, why don't I just set up a bunch of chunk loaders down here? Well, I'm afraid of corruption. I have corrupted my world before. That's why my iron farm is completely scuffed. So if I ever had my power go out or anything like that, the damage could be detrimental in the world and probably irreversible. So I tend to stay away from that. Not to mention the FPS. I get a solid 230 frames inside my storage room. So I'd say that's pretty dang good. In the meantime, what I will be doing is processing everything in my overflow. So everything that you guys see here is the stuff that doesn't go through the auto sorter. So we have all of the fundamental building blocks, at least everything that makes sense, you know? if you guys watch the live streams or any of my other YouTube videos, you probably know that I'm constantly changing this storage room. It's going through constant growth. And the lights above, it's just a way to kind of show me that the system is working and that everything is filtering through perfectly, which I don't see any lights on right now. So that's a little alarming, but I may have saw a light turn on over there. Not 100% sure. But while I'm down here sorting out everything, above me, all the prismarine is actually crafting. But that's not all. I've also incorporated into the Nether hub exactly how I'm going to be linking up the next mega build. So coming all the way down through here, making my way all the way out to the basically the bee castle with all the spiders and stuff, right through this very inconspicuous hole over here at the very end. I have started up the next expansion to the Nether hub, which is going to be all the way down here, all the way down this whole corridor, across the way to this basalt delta, which is actually super exciting because there is actually a double blaze spawner over here, which I'm totally going to be utilizing because I'm in need of a desperate upgrade. So you can see that guy and then that guy right on over there. I'm going to get out of here because I almost died there the other day. Kind of tried to remain cool, calm, and collected over on the lives. And well, on the inside, I was kind of yikes. But I've set up another portal over here. So if we go through this portal, it's actually going to bring us to the brand new build location, which is going to be where we're going to start the Dragon Queen of the Coral Reef, which I'm thinking about orientating the build this way. That way I can get rid of this whole big blue spot right here, doing a really cool effect. But I'm also going to be building the mega build over here as well. And I'm thinking I'm going to take some inspiration from a lot of Japanese architecture with a little bit of a twist. Gonna have some quartz, gonna have a little bit of Greek inspiration. So we'll see how this build turns out. But it really does feel good actually having a proper area set up for the portal and knowing exactly how it's going to be linking up to the Nether hub. But there's still 2 more laboratories that I need to finish up. 1, what are the effects of mushrooms on cows? Which means that we're going to be doing something to do with mushrooms. And then I have another little one after that. Welcome to the Mushroom Cow Observatory. This is where we're going to be doing some research on the effects of mushrooms on cows. But check it out. I have 2 observation windows right here. This observation window obviously looking in at the mushroom cows in their natural environment. And then right on over here, we have all of the other cows. Cold cows, warm cows, tempered cows. But the idea is that the mushroom fungus isn't able to attach itself to any other cow besides the tempered cow, which I think is pretty cool. We also have a hazmat suit right here. We have all of our brewing stands and little like test tubes and everything, all sciencey and whatnot. Got a little rolly cart right here. You have mushroom bags, and this is a mushroom book where we're studying up on different types of like cordyceps and all that fun stuff. And then right on over here, we have like dirt samples and other potions and books to read up on when it comes to cows, hay bales, scrolls. And then I've tried to make do with the space as much as I could, but I think that this looks really nice, and it definitely looks like an observation area. Oh, and did you notice that I made it upwards to 600 levels that I'm probably going to be losing within the next couple days because, unfortunately, we have to segue into the next big mega build. Remember, this is the regional build. That means that this build is going to be under continuous development for the next foreseeable future. This hardcore world's been around for 5 years now, 47,000 days. And that is where we're at with the new and improved Wither Skeleton Perimeter, which I am so much more happy with than what I started off with. So let's do a quick little overview on all the cool stuff that we've built. I'm gonna miss that build. I had so much fun building in Motham City, and I hope you guys did too. But it's about time that we segue into something completely new. From something that was a little bit more gothic, a little bit more dark, into something a lot more bright and beautiful. As you guys know, we're going to be going into the Coral Reef build. And we're starting things off with a bang. Let me show you guys what I've got going on over there now. So obviously I've been taking the time to set up the beacons around this area. Obviously you guys can't see those beacons because I hide my beacons using sodium extras. But let me just show you the sense of scale of this entire build. I have this circle right here, which is the diameter of 161 blocks, which is fairly big. This is how I'm going to be getting rid of all of this blue water right here, doing like a very cool drained area with waterfalls cascading down the sides, going into what is going to be a very big like blooming section where we'll have like snow and cobwebs and everything being sucked in basically. But that's not even the beginning of the build. This build is going to be much larger than this. It's going to start with this circle and it's going to work its way out and around like this, like a giant crescent moon. And I'm really excited to see how this plans out. But unfortunately, that's all the time that we have in today's episode. If you liked today's episode, don't forget to leave a like. And obviously, if you guys want to see how the Coral Reef build turns out or what's in store for Motham City in the future, subscribe for more. Because there is a lot of lore that I'm lining up in Motham that's going to tie to so many builds in the future. There's going to be a lot of foreshadowing happening here very, very soon. And I'm very excited for a lot of that stuff to come together. But I will say, thank you guys all for watching the episode. I appreciate it. If you guys have made it to the very end, if you've made it this far, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys think of Motham, what I want to add to Motham, or what I should add to Motham, and what you guys think the Coral Reef build is going to be. I'm curious to see if anybody guesses anything that I've got planned. If you guys are watching the live streams, of course, I appreciate you guys all being a part of that. But until next time, I'll see you guys in the next episode.